Who picked the Packers? I know at least a few people did. Bravo, whoever called that one on Pipes Pick'ems. We saw Carey last night. We saw Big Rich last night. Didn't see Free Jack last night. Hey, Free Jack, I got one thing to ask. One question for you. What the hell was that? The fallout begins. Well, it began last night, but into this morning. I'm telling you, there's no way that McCartney survives this one. I think last year I watched the video of my thoughts on the Niners-Cowboys game this time a year ago, and it talked about how they got to stick with Prescott, and it's the same thing every year, Cowboy fans. Your biggest nightmare happens again. Is the call going out to Bill? That's the question. Is the hood man on the phone as we speak? I think he should be at this point. Not looking good. You got a team loaded with talent, and you got a coach who just can't get him over the hump. Prescott was bad again yesterday. Below average at best. But make no mistake, folks, this was a team effort choke job all around. I don't know what was going on, but everybody this time had a part in it. I think you could look back at 2 years ago and solely point the finger at Prescott, even last year, but this year, players, coaches, everything failed them. They had it set up perfectly. They would have had another date with Detroit next week, and they blew it. And they blew it big time. 20 years ago, Jerry put his pride aside and brought in Bill Parcells. I think he's going to do it this time again. He's going to bring in the hood man. You're going to have Josh McDaniels on the offense, and then whoever he wants to bring in as his defensive guy. But Dan Quinn, the great head coaching candidate, didn't do himself any favors last night, did he? That was terrible. What is going on with that? Dan Quinn. Yeah, some team's going to hire him. It could be Seattle, kind of bring him back, but he's a good defensive coordinator, but he's a retread, not very good as a head coach, and last night wasn't even good as a defensive coordinator. You bring in a new staff. Don't forget they have Diggs coming back next year healthy in the secondary, hopefully completely healthy for them. Draft some more talent, and with all the people down on the Eagles, I think Dallas will be your front runners for the NFC East, maybe even for the Super Bowl, depending on what else happens. But another disappointment for Cowboy fans. Congratulations to it's just funny. It's always, no matter how they gag, it's always talk about. This is like infuriating Packer fans because it's all about how the Cowboys lost. But the Green Bay Packers, it's all about matchup, boys, and they just came out like a well-oiled machine. Ran it hard. Great running game. Mistake-free and accurate play from Jordan Love. Got to give a big ups to him because, wow, I mean, just his first playoff start to play that well, incredible. That's got to hurt as a Cowboy fan to see that in their house. Excellent game for him. Matt LaFleur, I wasn't too sure about him a year or two ago, but Matt LaFleur, this guy looks like he's a hell of a coach. Got everything clicking for that team. Green Bay Packers, boys. It's all about matchups, and next week it's going to be the battle in San Francisco Jackass Jay is ready for this one. The matchup so far not looking too good for Green Bay, but we'll get into that later in the week. Packers solidify a date with the 49ers, number 1 seed, in another house money game. First team in playoff history, first 7 seed in playoff history, win a playoff game. Congratulations, cheeseheads. Last night in Detroit, Lions getting it done. Tip my cap to them for a huge win at home. It looked like the fans were just ready to go nuts on that first possession. They really came out looking like they were ready to win this game, and incredible win for them. First playoff win since January 5th, 1992. The divisional wild card over the Cowboys. I mean, the divisional game over the Cowboys. Yeah, that's back when we were wrapping up the divisional rounds in early January. Yep. So they break their playoff win drought, and so incredible. They're going to be hosting. Yeah, they will be hosting next week against the Eagles. Lions Eagles next Sunday, I believe. I think they said that the 49ers game will be Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. So Rams, I know a lot of people were talking about how hot a team they were. I wasn't too high on them. They just didn't have quite enough, and in their streak they didn't really beat many great teams. But Rams, they had a good season. They did a lot better than people expected them to. A lot of people thought they were kind of on the down. I think I even had them as last place. No, I had them like maybe third, but not doing anything. I think they were like 10-7. So Rams, yeah, just they're getting kind of older, so came out a little flat in that game. Then they got it back together. But Detroit Lions with a great win last night. They'll be ready. They'll be fired up, ready to go. Look at Dan Campbell on the sidelines, though. I see that beet red face and a little tense a lot. I don't think there's any question he's a constipate. Look on the other sideline. You got McVay, nice and slimmed down. Got the digestive system working. I know, yeah, uses some hair gel, but at least he can crap properly. On to tonight. So instead of we got the games starting at this afternoon. We got a little light, like some pellets coming down. I don't think it's going to stick. They said 1 to 3 inches, but I'm not seeing anything really sticking out here. It's like just at freezing, kind of at that level. So I'm hoping for a little accumulation so that we can get some good features going. If it does, I'll have some quality snow features ready to roll. If not, do a one for all the marbles. But regardless, this is great atmosphere today. You don't want to waste this great atmosphere on a so-so movie. Okay, I want to get a nice crappy classic movie. It's not Omen 2 weather yet. It could be Omen 1976 weather, but I don't know. I doubt it. Not today. Bills, Steelers. Here we go. All right. We got up in Buffalo, the postponed game. I am picking the Bills to win this game. Big Shawkinator is ready. He's got his gumbo. Soft Angelica as well. Who's that other guy? Repo Depot. He's a Bills fan. Whoa! All right, so Repo Depot had some choice words for Darth. Yeah, Darth last week, and then someone else. Wasn't there a Steeler fan in there that he was like somebody? Yeah, Repo said, "I will be there Sunday." Yeah, he said, "I'll be there Sunday night after the game, no matter what." But of course, the game didn't happen Sunday. We'll see if Repo shows up tonight. I forgot about that. Yeah, a big Bills fan, talking a lot of crap, dropping some expletives. He's really fired up about his Bills. I think you're going to see a fired up Bills crowd today. Come on, guys, Steelers. No TJ Watt. Kind of anemic passing offense. It's got to be the Bills here. Bills don't win big. They're a real. I kind of like how they grind out wins now. They're kind of close wins, but that's a good thing in playoff football. A lot of games are going to be close. Unless it's Packers, Cowboys, and Texans, Browns. But then tonight we got the big one with the kind of the game that is the least interested for me personally is the Eagles going to Tampa facing the Buccaneers. So this one, Browns fans, how do you feel about this one? How do you feel about your team being out and Baker Mayfield possibly advancing? It could happen, but nah, it's not. It's gonna be the Eagles winning this game. And they got a lot of injuries, but you're going to see them coming out and playing well in this game. They should win this game against the Buccaneers. Buccaneers, they almost lost to the Panthers last week. They had a hard time finishing off the Panthers. So, they're nothing. They're not anything more special than the Eagles or anything worse than the Eagles. So, Eagles win and live to see next week. Going to Detroit, like I said earlier. So that'll be big. Houston and the Browns. A big showcase this weekend I talked about Dan Quinn, one of the head coaching candidates of the 8 teams without a soon-to-be 9 after McCartney. Almost 9 teams to have a head coaching vacancy. A couple of huge performances on the offensive side by Ben Johnson of the Lions is the number 1 guy right now. Now, this is a guy who had options a year ago and turned down several offers. So whatever team he goes to this year is a team he wants to go to. It's not like, I got to take advantage of this opportunity. He is the number 1 guy. He has the biggest body of work, at least of all the offensive coordinators, unless you count Eric Bieniemy. Bobby Slowick of the. Let me go back to Ben Johnson. What he's done with the Lions. He's got more talent there, but making Goff a good to very good quarterback. And that line, I can't overemphasize, that offensive line last night was a huge difference maker in that game against the Cowboys. They dominated. I said the Cowboys, the Rams. They dominated. Very impressive. So incredible job by Johnson and calling the offense the last couple of years. Doing a great job. But in Houston, Bobby Slowick, who comes from that Shanahan tree, is now risen to the way up there as a head coaching candidate. Bobby Slowick, I think he's done more with less than Ben Johnson. He's a guy that's taken some marginal receivers, made them look good. A banged-up offensive line that neutralized Myles Garrett on Saturday, which is incredible. And what he's done with a rookie quarterback, a great rookie quarterback, but a rookie quarterback nonetheless. Bobby Slowick, formerly an assistant with the Redskins about 10 years ago under Shanahan. Maybe he's the prodigal son to come back. There are 4 head coaches in this playoff, so we're former Redskin assistants: Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, Matt LaFleur, Mike McDaniel of the Dolphins. Two of them meeting up head-to-head next week, LaFleur and Shanahan. But Slowik, maybe he's the one that comes back to Washington. I don't know. I think personally, I believe it's going to be Ben Johnson, but Slowik will get opportunities elsewhere, and I think he'll take one. So Lions and Houston Texans will miss both of them if they both leave, which they seem like they will. What an incredible weekend in the NFL. Wild cards, the wild card games. We are now at we've come a long way from just a couple weeks ago talking about the playoff scenarios, breaking down all the different scenarios. It feels a lot better now to be like, okay, now we're down to 10, okay, and then after tonight down to 8. All right, so we're kind of chiseling it down now to the more elite remaining teams. If you get to the divisional rounds, you're in there. There could be some flukes in there, but next week is like the real, playoff. Then you can really see, especially see what the 1 seeds do with the rest off, and who kind of separates from the field, setting up the egg. Man, we're going to be down to 4 this time next week. Yep, we'll be doing maybe a Bear Scott Stadium video, but incredible. All right, Shockinator, ready for today's game. Soft Angel, ready for today's game. Repo Depot, ready for today's game. Duck, are you ready? All those Steeler fans from the past, rise up. Rise up, they're going to need you today. In Beefalo, frigid temperatures. And then tonight, Eagles 52, last chance to stay alive in the playoffs. All right, Bucks. Who's that Bucks fan? I always forget. Bucks, Buck fan, something. But Kansas City Chiefs advance. Like I said yesterday, Kansas City Chiefs showed enough to show that they have what it takes to get back to the Super Bowl. Anyone who picked the Miami Dolphins in that game were just fooling themselves. Like I said, they were a legit playoff team. They did everything they needed to get there. They didn't back in or anything like that. They won a lot of games, but soft finesse. Gotta watch my language here, team. Come on, you really think they had any chance of winning that game? Stop. Oh man. Right, Texans get the big win too. So big week in the NFL, and 2 games today. It's kind of cool. 2 wild card games, but probably missed the beginning of the first because the atmosphere is too good. Yesterday during the time that would have been the Bills-Steelers game, they were showing the last year's AFC title game. I don't get into that too much. It kind of reminds me of back when Scamdemic, when they were showing old games on TV when there was no sports. Not really into that on Sunday afternoons, watching old games, but especially when it's like during the real season. But maybe a night with watching old NFL films on a VHS with a Tombstone pizza, some Steel Reserve malt liquor. That's a different story. All right, guys, we're gonna do maybe a one for all the marbles, and we're gonna rock some marathon trivia tonight. Stay warm. This is Peters at my stadium, and I'm out.